Good Sunday morning to everyone. It's January 29th, 2017. Today I want to talk about forgiveness, the idea and the act of it. And like the videos in the series so far, I encourage and believe that it all starts with ourselves. There's a couple of sayings out there in recovery circles that in order to give it away, you have to have it yourself. And in order to keep it, you have to give it away. So we've all done things in our past. We've all said things in our past, and probably both, that we regret. And we may be holding on to those things. And the problem with holding on to those things is it creates a couple of different emotions or feelings about ourselves. And that is shame and guilt. I don't know if anybody's ever explained kind of what the difference is, because they sound very much the same, but they are very different. Shame is the feeling that I am, at my core, a bad person. And that is a toxic emotion that can only lead to more actions and thought processes that lead to more feelings of shame and guilt. And guilt is a feeling of I've done something wrong. Now, that can be useful because if we do something and it creates a feeling of guilt, and if we properly use that, it may help us to not repeat that same behavior in the future that may have hurt someone. I'm not saying that we should walk around in a constant state of guilt. It's about balance. If we've done something wrong, we have a feeling of guilt about it. We work to resolve that in whatever way that we do, whether it's making an amends to that person in some way, or that institution or organization, and to be free of that guilt, because we don't want to walk around in a constant state of guilt. That's not healthy either. But we definitely want to be rid of that toxic feeling of shame. So that's where self-forgiveness comes in. Again, I've done plenty wrong in my life that I need to forgive myself for. And if you're a spiritual person, I need to be forgiven for. And that comes from not only the act of living a better life, in whatever that means to you. Also, it can be asking for, if you're a spiritual person, again, asking your higher power, whatever that may be, for forgiveness. If you're an intellectual and you don't believe in such things as a higher power, that's fine too. It's a thought process of, if I can forgive myself for whatever actions I have done in the past that may have hurt somebody else, and then maybe I can feel better in my life going forward. And like I said, it all starts with ourselves. And if we can work through these feelings, we're much more apt to offer them freely to others in our lives that have hurt us in the past. Because if you're human walking this earth like me, you've been hurt. It's the human condition. We hurt each other. We don't mean to, but we do it anyway. And so if we forgive ourselves and free ourselves from that shame, we are much more likely to forgive others in our lives that have hurt us in the past as well. And let me tell you, you've probably already experienced this. You probably are, again, like every other day, you're probably already way ahead of me. But let me tell you, that is a a great feeling to have that weight lifted off of your shoulders, to forgive someone for what they've done to you in the past. So I encourage you to take a look inwardly today about the issue of forgiveness, to take a look at how that can be offered to other individuals. And I say institutions and organizations because we got to include those too, right? Maybe we've been fired by a company in the past and we resent them for it. Maybe the IRS did us wrong and we resent the IRS. It could be any institution or organization, so we got to include those too. But see how that affects your mindset and how that flows into every other attitude and action in your life. It's a powerful, powerful thing to be able to forgive, not only yourself and others. So I'm going to leave you with that. And once again, you are a good person. I don't want you to ever forget that. You're a good person. You're valued. You're loved. You offer this planet something positive, and I encourage you to use that for good. So with that said, Tim here again today, signing off, and I'll see you tomorrow.